Hello, my friends, family, esteemed colleagues. I just watched a video showing like a few excerpts of Kurt Russell's life, and seeing him in a shape he is today, announcing that he's suffering from a serious health issue called Stevens-Johnson syndrome. And this hurts because this is easily avoidable. And what is the prognosis? More suffering and death. Why? Because this Stevens-Johnson syndrome is nothing more than symptoms of very toxic body, further made toxic by medication. And of course, the science labels it as the strong autoimmune response to a certain medication, which is not true at all. And this brings me back thinking about another actor I liked very much, who is no longer with us, was John Ritter from the Three's Company. I enjoyed that TV show. I love the guy, and I saw him later in life, in last couple movies. He was barely functional, obese, inflamed, extremely toxic. I bet you he was on tons of medication. And then looking further, at one point, what happened with Will Kilmer. This wonderful actor, beautiful guy, all of a sudden became inflamed, obese, highly toxic, you can see on his skin. And think of it, Brendan Fraser, same thing. Now, these are actors that, we seen and we see what is happening with them. And the poor souls are suffering unnecessarily under the care of the science of medicine. So I would like to discuss this directly, pointing here on how obvious this is, that this is nothing more than a highly toxic body going into detox. So I'm going to show you directly on the screen, and we'll do some commenting how easily this can be overcome, well, easily, within few months. And what is the prognosis? Kurt Russell prognosis is, possible cancer, because he's in such a bad shape that, cancer is expected. Put this in the mind. So you scare the actor to death and cause the actual problem. And why is a prognosis bleak, that it only gets worse and worse? Well, because medication is toxic and contributes to a problem. So if medication is what you are going to treat this poor man with, then of course it's going to get worse and worse and worse. So let's just have a look at the stupidity. Okay, so here we are. Again, we are looking at our friend's site, which is a Mayo Clinic, Stevens-Johnson syndrome. So overview, Stevens-Johnson syndrome is a rare serious disorder of the skin and mucous membranes. It's usually reaction to medication that starts with flu-like symptoms, followed by painful rash that spreads and blisters. Then the top layer of affected skin dies, sheds, and begins to heal after several days. They said it's a medical emergency. Yeah, well, I wrote about this, and you can find it in my articles, because I had 2 clients I was helping with this problem. To one of them basically to save her life from overmedication. And this is not only affecting skin and mucosal tissue, it can affect also organs. Of course, they will give a different name. It will affect also muscles. It can affect any part of the body, because let's say even when it is localized in mucosal tissue, in the mouth, for example, here we have pictures of how it can be seen. You see those black stuff. This is a toxic coagulum that ends through bleeding. As always, body is trying to get rid of this toxic garbage that is in the blood, and it's being released through the tissue, because in general these people are dehydrated, so they are not going to go and eliminate so much through urination and diarrhea, because they are low on plasma. So it will be pushed towards mucosal tissue of mouth, but could be affecting also any mucosal tissue in the body, even eyes, as was the case of my client. And of course, through bleeding, this is one way to get those toxins out. It can also be shown in a tongue, white tongue. Many people suffer from white tongue. Well, that's toxic release. Okay? But you will also see it's usually not only tongue, it's lips affected and gums, the whole tissue. And similar things may be happening also in or mucous tissue of your intestines. Then we give it a different name depending on the symptoms that is going to show. And of course, eyes are mucosal tissue, and you can have what they call conjunctivitis, or American way conjunctivitis. Now they call it, it's a immune reaction. There's nothing to do with immune reaction. What is the characteristic that always before this happened, or almost always, people have developed, let's say, flu symptoms. They may have stomach problems, they may go into diarrhea, they may, or constipation if they are that much dehydrated, or headache can occur, a fever. Okay, so what happened? There was a sudden toxic release. Toxins from a tissue released into the blood for elimination. Blood becomes very toxic, and what organs show this toxicity are organs that will cleanse the blood. So you go either through urine, so you know that could be problem also with the vagina, mucosal tissue, and Of course, there will be problem with intestines, diarrhea, then fever, toxic blood will trigger fever. And since a lot of these toxins will be heading towards skin and mucosal tissue, then on mucosal tissue, which what you can see is basically your mouth, eyes, could be also vagina, you are going to see these things happening. Now, when you see these black spots, this is terrible stuff. This is toxin going out. But then again, you have similar things happening in uterus. Of course, we name it differently, and we give it name cysts and what kind of crap. And then when women are bleeding, when they have their period, then similar looking stuff is coming out of them with the blood. They are cleansing this crap out. So let's say you come with this problem to see your doctor. What is doctor going to do? He will look at you and say, whoa, it's inflammation. Up by medication against inflammation. We got to suppress the inflammation. And you got a fever. Bingo, we got to lower the fevers. Another medication for fever. Oh, you're in pain. Oh, bingo, some analgesic because we got to suppress this pain. So now you are pumped with the 3 more difficult toxins. Then, of course, you have stomach problem. Medication causes problems with the stomach. So here is another medication to shield you from this. Another toxin. And then, of course, they say prognosis is bleak because nobody gets better. You get worse and worse and worse. Why? Scratch your head. Are you so freaking dumb that you cannot see what you are doing? The only problem is that doctors have no solution because nobody ever told them anything about necessity of plasma, about how detox actually works, what toxins are, because if they would know to treat one disease, they would be treating them all. What we are doing with Self-Healers Protocol, exactly this thing, okay, with one protocol, no matter what chronic health issue you have, you are going to resolve it because it's always the same freaking thing. It's always toxicity. And you allow the body to detoxify, and the body is going to heal. And if you do not detoxify, if you continue medicating, the prognosis is bleak. You go into autoimmune, so-called reaction, where since you blame everything on the immune system, the immune system goes out of whack and attacks its own body. Only brainwashed idiot can think that body will attack itself. And we are all so brainwashed with this stupid science of medicine promoted through indoctrination centers that we simply cannot see. We are so freaking blind. Okay, so I feel so bad that I cannot get in touch with Kurt Russell and help him. Because it's easy. And it's not going to only eliminate this problem, it is going to eliminate all of his problems. And, the same is with his longtime girlfriend, Goldie Hawn. You can see on her, she is inflamed and extremely toxic. She can be back this beautiful girl if only know what to do. As long as you stick to the science, you are doomed. There is no way out, unfortunately. So as you could see, that even when doctors are aware that the medication actually caused the problem, they still don't know what to do about it, because they think that medication will resolve the problem. So maybe they give too much of one thing, let's take a little bit that down and let's use something else. Makes no difference. It is toxic no matter what you're going to give. You need to hydrate so the body can detoxify. Well, no one makes money on hydration. I mentioned before in one of my videos, when I was giving a speech in Venezuela, and there were some doctors present also, because one doctor was a friend of my wife, and she invited some of her colleagues, and they came with the with notebooks, and when she asked them, oh, what is this? And they said, well, we got some questions for the young doctor here. And after I laid out the problem, after I explained what is happening with the body, nobody asked questions. So she asked her friends, doctors, what were the questions? But you can ask now. And they said, yeah, everything was clear and everything was answered without us needing to ask any question. Because it's so obvious, it's so simple. Once when you allow your brain to kind of work a little bit, to think a little bit, when you lay out the picture clearly in front. The next thing was, okay, so what are we going to do now? We're going to quit medicating and start selling a sea salt? Well, it's not exactly this way. Doctors can be of great help because there is different ways we can administer plasma and different ways, speedy release of toxic liquid from a body. What Rene Quinton was doing. If you can, in one vein, you can keep letting blood out, toxic blood out, and through the other vein, you can keep filling in the clean plasma. You can exchange a liter of blood at a time. And you accelerate the healing process, because by eliminating toxic blood, you are eliminating huge amount of toxins, which would take a long time to slowly being filtered out. This way you just get them out with the blood, and your body is going to replenish this blood. Within 3 days, it's done. And this was proven again by Rene Quinton, who was bleeding dogs. He bled them out as much as he could and then filled them up with a sea plasma. And they were in seizure. They looked like they were going to die, but third day, all of them got up and the skin started healing. The problems start clearing out. That's how quickly you can heal if you can quickly detoxify. There is no faster detox than just getting rid of toxic blood and putting in fresh plasma, so the body rebuilds the blood. Remember, we have plenty of stem cells circulating. So what is missing can quickly be reactivated. You don't have to go from a single red blood cell and now wait until the body starts producing. You have stem cells. They can quickly convert into red blood cell, white blood cell, anything that is necessary, because conversion happens by necessity. It's a program. We are running on program. It's a robot. So solutions are there, natural solutions, quick solutions. But nobody is implementing them because they are against a law. And who writes the law? Cabal. God forbid you heal someone. That's a big no-no. You should just keep patching people up, making them more and more sick. In the protocol of Zion, it tells you we are going to poison them through food, and when they come to us to help them, we are going to further poison them through medication. It's an inner freaking protocol of Zion. Read it. So they laid out everything, what they're going to do. And they are doing what they said they will do. And all we can do is bah. Sheep. So, I just received a question. Oh, are you sure that psoriasis can be healed? Because when I started on a protocol, using the hydration protocol, self-healers protocol, my skin got worse. And I couldn't take this everyday diarrhea. Well, it's a cleansing. You gotta cleanse. And when you start, you cleanse blood quickly. Within 3 weeks, you cleanse it sufficiently. But what happens? Then your tissue starts releasing toxins into the blood. And your blood becomes more toxic than before. So more plasma is necessary, more cleansing is necessary. And we can store huge amount of toxins before we even show any symptom. Once when symptoms start showing up, even minor symptoms, the body is already very, very extremely toxic. And then when one symptom shows up very quickly, then another symptoms follow because you're already very toxic. Your body cannot handle it. So it's starting slowly by one symptom, another symptom, and they just keep going on. This is how chronic diseases develop. That's why they call it chronic, because it takes time and then they drag on until you die. Because you never go to heal as long as you cling to science and medicine. Well, sorry for the rant. If any one of you knows how to get to Kurt Russell, send him the information, send him self-healers protocol. I doubt that he will even consider it, because for everyone, medicine is, doctors, I have a lot of money, I know I'm with the best doctors. If they cannot do nothing, well, some schmuck in the jungle is going to do something. It's not me, it's just science. We have to peel away from science and go to the truth. Love you all. Bless you. Namaste.